tonight. I should be live, I should be live, I should be live and live. Da, 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 da. I'm worried that there were people here early and I put the wrong time on the advert or something. Don't know who's out there. Sound off in the chat. Gerard and Paisano have already joined. There's Gerard saying good evening all. Paisano confirming that my earlier test was accurate. There was me testing. Who else we got here? What up? And then we got Liquid Entity. You're live. I am live. Liquid Entity. Bringing it in the comments on the videos, my man. I appreciate that. And then Will's with us. Greetings, everyone. Yes, you're live, Chris. Hi, Will. How's it going, man? How's things in New York? And then we've got the 30-minute heads up is always a false alarm. Yeah, it was me. Just getting all my stuff, all my ducks in a row. Getting all my shit together. And then we've got Jono here. Hi, Jono. How's it going, my man? Bobby Dubs in the house, everybody. How do you get your figures so early? Well, let me tell you, Bobby. In fact, if I press this button here, although is it just going to give you a link to... it might just give you a link to this stream, actually. But, yeah. How do I get them early? What else we got? Hey, the Colonel's here as well. Another luminary of the G.I. Joe Classified YouTube commenting scene. Pleasure to see you, Colonel. Hope you're well. Connor's here. Hi, Connor. So Connor, I don't know if you've watched my latest video. I hope you don't mind. I shared a story that you shared with me while we were having a beer over in Birmingham. Not that story. Buenos tardes. Hey, Eric, how you doing, my man? I claim fake news on you having a shit together. Is the audio all right? Yes, fair cop, Gov. Fair cop. Oh, hang on. I've not got my lights on proper. Not got my lights on proper. See, there you go. I haven't got my shit together. Let's get my lights on proper. Oh, there we go. There we go. Properly lit on this side now. Yeah, it's true. It's true, Jono. I very rarely have my shit together. Very rarely. But that's what you come here for, isn't it? For the shambolic northerner. Just bimbling about, trying to live stream and talk about toys. I slurping my tea. I was listening to a bit of the Average White Band, actually, just then, while I was getting everything set up. Got the love, got the love. Eric says, it's all good, buddy. It's the end of my work day. Hooray! Yeah, I've been off, actually, this week, so it's the autumn break, what we call half term here in the UK. So the kids have been off this week. I've been off work with them, just hanging out, chilling out, walking the dog, kicking balls around, doing the usual. But thankfully, or not so thankfully, as many of you will know, I've not live streamed for a little while now because the combination of the new puppy and the kids going back to school, and then a whole kind of juggle around with the, the extracurriculars and all that. My daughter's been involved in the school play, and then she's still going to dancing. My son's now on 2 basketball teams. It's hectic for Dad's taxi. You know what I mean? The bookings are coming hard and fast. Dog walks and then feeding them and all that kind of stuff. But because I'm off this week and they're off this week, and all the extracurricular activities, particularly the ones run by school, aren't happening, I had a Thursday night free. My wife was like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything on Thursday." I'm like, "Right, I'm doing a stream. I'm doing a stream." So here I am doing a stream, and it could not be more timely because New York Comic Con was this weekend just gone. So it's my intention imminently, once we get through this kind of warm-up piece and the hellos and greetings and whatnot, to rattle through some of the things that caught my eye at New York Comic Con. Only a small selection, really, and play a little game of Purchase or Pegwarmer, which some regulars will be familiar with. It's pretty simple. We look at the picture, we talk about it. You guys post in chat what you think about it, and then you let me know whether it's a purchase you'll make or whether you think it's going to be a peg warmer. It's as simple as that, really. Not the most inventive of streams. I need ideas, folks. I need interesting adult collector toy stream ideas. Get your suggestions in the suggestion box. You know what I mean? So yeah, so is that everybody? Say hello to everyone in the chat. Let me just scan through, make sure I have acknowledged all who are present. Present and correct, sir. Yeah, I tell you. How do you get your G.I. Joe class? I've got another one going out tomorrow, actually, that I recorded earlier today. I had a few thoughts. It's a bit ranty, actually, but a few thoughts about the Hasbro layoffs that hit the news. But then they published their annual finances, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if this video's kind of already been made obsolete, but I don't think it has. So keep your eyes out for that one tomorrow, folks. Keep your eyes out for that one tomorrow. There's something weird going on with me thing. What's going on there? Everyone's a bit quiet in chat today. But okay, let's get into it then, shall we? Let's jump on over to the blue screen. He says, pressing his button and it not responding. There we go. So New York Comic Con was this weekend just gone. I'm sure you guys have seen a bazillion streams by now or videos knocking around that have been looking at these. But as you well know, I'm a big fan of not just sharing my thoughts, as I did in a video on the G.I. Joe Classifieds in particular, but also capturing the thoughts of folks from around and about the community and seeing what's what. Oh, that's an interesting comment from Jono. Hasbro went kind of hard on Star Wars, not doing well in that report. I've not read it yet. I've not read the report yet, which is why I'm saying the video I recorded earlier today may be obsolete. And then Paisano, I can be louder. Yeah, type away. And Will says, it's always great to hear your views on the toy news. You know what, Will? You are like the nicest, politest, most kind of open and giving viewer. Honestly, love you to bits, man. You're the best. Battery's flat on me. Why is that not working? Deal with that later. The report actually sounds interesting then. Yeah, I don't know. I just saw a short while ago, you know, just having a little skim through the socials and what have you. I just saw some people posting, but I just thought, yesterday was news about layoffs, which, you know, I'll save my thoughts for the video I've recorded. You guys can get around to that when you've got a free minute tomorrow. But just, you know, announcing, oh, it's actually not that bad. We're doing okay, and we've got all these magic plans, but we're also laying people off. It fucking sucks, man. It's bad business, bro. It's bad business. He says as he's about to roll into a New York Comic Con review that's going to include, well, yeah, definitely some Hasbro stuff in here. I don't know why I needed to check my notes for that. I knew full well that I was planning on talking about the classified stuff at the back end. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I've been there many times myself. You know, you don't talk about your professional life, your jobs and shit in the YouTube land. You know, we're all here for the toys, aren't we? So we're not all that interested in the boring, like 9 to 5 daily grind stuff that we all do. But professionally, I have been very closely involved in layoffs and redundancies and stuff in my life, and I fall under the human resources umbrella, and so I'm somewhat qualified to talk about this stuff. Jono's saying there, isn't that the third set of layoffs from Hasbro this year? I don't know if it's the third set this year, but it's certainly, you know, 3 in close proximity. I think it was before Christmas last year was the big one, you know, where they binned off like 1,100 people. And then there were some rumblings around March time, I seem to remember. And then this batch now, you know. So, yeah, certainly, I mean, despite whichever of us is inaccurate on the time scale, it's still, you know, a frequent event that should not be taking place, isn't it? Let's face facts. Oh, Colonel Angus got an idea for a video series. All right, get that banged over to me then, man. Track me down on Discord, Twitter, Insta, whatever, and fire me a little note over. Always open to video series suggestions, providing, you know, I'm technically capable of making it happen. Yeah, there you go. So Paisano was saying, yeah, there was one at Christmas last year. Jono, Defo won earlier this year too, so that would be the second for sure. Yeah, I think we're all there or thereabouts, right? Certainly, if you take it as a 12-month window, that's like 3 in 12 months, you know. Bobby Dubs there. That's weird. Hasbro is laying off people. Maybe if they don't sell out of the most popular G.I. Joe figures, they wouldn't have to do that. Oh, here we go. When it comes to posing my figures, I'm definitely a vanilla poser. I struggle to get creative with the poses. Do you know what, Colonel Angus? This was a problem. Hang on, I'll go back to full screen while we're just generally chatting. This was a problem I faced, and I used to do a lot, and I've been working real hard on getting a little bit more inventive. And I posted a video saying, like, you know, I'm boring at posing. Give me some advice. And some of the advice in the comments were really quite good. And I feel like I'm getting better. And with some of my dios and you know, printed off backgrounds and stuff as well, I feel like I'm just edging forward little bit by little bit, you know. So I could definitely share, you know, do a video series or a couple of vids sharing the journey that I'm on. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an authority by any stretch of the imagination on posing, but it is something I'm actively playing around with to make my my videos more interesting, you know. So I think I could make something work there for you, my man, if that's something you're interested in seeing, for sure. Eric here. I'm rearranging my display in a big way, so if I'm quieter than usual, that would be why. Okay, but I expect to see photos. That's the trade-off. Colonel Angus, I know your shorts feature a few poses, but I was thinking of some little longer. Yeah, sure. I totally get where you're coming from there, Colonel. Yeah. And then Connor here. Sad times for those workers, but can't help think there's a correlation between layoffs and Ollie's and Ross fire sales. Yeah, I saw some stuff knocking around like the RossCon memes and all that. Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? It's you know, the bottom line is, and you know, spoiler alert, because this is what the video is saying that I'm posting tomorrow on the subject of the layoffs, is that layoffs of this nature, frequent layoffs of this nature, are basically a sign of bad leadership. There's no two ways about it, because if they were able to manage resource, maintain efficiency, manage performance, if they were able to forecast, if they knew their niche market well enough to be able to look at the horizon and sort of practically prepare for trials and tribulations, ups and downs and what have you, then the layoff frequency would be reduced. It would be vastly reduced. And arguably, the volume of layoffs is an indicator, because you might say, well, it's market forces, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like supply and demand and changing demographics and purchasing habits and you know, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, that may well be the case, and you may have unforeseen circumstances. But if you are unable to make your organization agile and to develop your employees so that when events go a bit pear-shaped, you can redeploy them or refocus them as a resource in other directions to better support your aims, or strategically look ahead and go, I think we've got a bumpy road coming up there. You know, so they've over-recruited, haven't they? They've overhired, which is another sign of bad management, because they're just bringing people in, throwing people at a problem, and then going, oh, now we've got too many people, the payroll bill's too high, and binning them off. So anyway, that's what the video is about tomorrow, but you've just had the abbreviated version. Yeah, but it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. You know what I mean? I've been there. And I've been the guy who's had to sit across from the table. You know, I've been the George Clooney dude who's had to have these conversations. I know the pain that it causes, folks. You know what I mean? I'm very well aware. Colonel Angus includes some tips and tricks. So that's on the we kind of got two parallel topics running at the moment. On the posing. You bet, my man. I can do that for sure. Jono's got a little hint to play. I try and go with iconic poses for characters like, say, Spidey or RoboCop or any of the Star Wars characters. Yeah, and that's the thing I've been doing. You know, you just get into Google Images, take a look at some pickies or whatever. Or you can get these like kind of artist sketch-proof things that show certain poses, and you sort of use that as a source of inspiration. But anyway, this could all be good content for a video series that Colonel Angus would like to see. And I would most definitely make a video series for Colonel Angus. Yeah, so here you go, Paisano. I got to Ross last night, got Scrap Iron and Grunt. Yeah, and Scrap Iron's great. I've actually got my G.I. Joe box here because I was taking some pictures earlier today. I freaking love Scrap Iron. The head sculpt is absolute banger, isn't it? I've got the autofocus turned off, but the head sculpt's an absolute banger. I love the head sculpt. You know, with his burnt up face and all that. Yeah, I really like Scrapeye. And there's something kind of interesting about him because he's in those kind of Cobra uniformal colours, the blue and the red and the black. But it's obvious he's not just a straight up standard kind of Cobra soldier dude. You know what I mean? Which I also appreciate. So very good. Paisano getting some deals. I'm probably going to regret asking this, but how much did you pay for your scrap iron? I'll probably regret asking that. Eric here. Layoffs are always a bitch, but it's a special kind of shitty when they correspond with the holiday season. Our company goes through it every year, even when the quarterly report is promising. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's all these mixed messages, and ultimately it means that shareholder interest is being prioritized over the important people, which is the front line, the folks that actually serve our needs as the customers that keep them afloat. Fucking sucks, you know. John here, 100% sign of bad management. None of the people who got sacked had any influence on the things that caused the company to lose money, in my opinion. Yeah, and while that may be your opinion, in my opinion, and we don't have the hardcore evidence to support that, the fact is that it's highly likely to be the case, isn't it? That's the bottom line of that is that is highly likely to be the case. I'm a bit frustrated. My vape pen is playing up, and I don't know why. I've got a red light flashing, and it won't let me use it. So if I start getting a bit cranky in about an hour's time on the stream, you'll know why. Because I can't get any. What's going on? What's happening here, eh? Stupid thing. Probably the filter's gone. I'm not even sure I've got spare filters either, which will be even more annoying. Yeah, the red light just keeps coming on when I'm pressing the button. Bad habit, anyway. Doing me good. Liquid Entity here. Let's have a look. When your licensed products have failing IPs, but you still have mandates under that license, no amount of good management can solve those losses. I don't agree with that, actually. You know, but that's fine because, again, like I say, I've got no insider knowledge or insider information to understand what's going on. Because there are a wealth of companies who have got license agreements with the likes of Disney, you know, around stuff like Star Wars and Marvel, who are sustaining themselves and are able to meet the agreements that are struck and are not, you know, frequently, like what did we just say, 3 times in the last 12 months, messing with people's lives and making layoffs. Because what that means is that they are misallocating resources, planning and strategizing stuff incorrectly in order to meet those agreements. Or let's call it out for what it is. It was probably bad management that signed the deal in the first place. You know, that was unable to strategically and, you know, with good data and good information and knowledge, you know, real expertise about their marketplace, go, well, actually making this agreement now is going to, these mandates are going to put us in 2, 3, 4 years time. This is going to be a problem and we need to manage that, you know. So it all goes back to that leadership in the first instance, because whoever rubber stamped the decision to take that license on obviously didn't have the skills or knowledge to assess historical data, to you know, build a strategy, a plan, you know, an operational strategy, an operational plan to allow those mandates not to end up resulting in repeated layoffs. You know, the personnel and the customer should be the last resort, the last people to pay the price, not the first, you know. But that's okay. We're allowed to disagree. Bobby Dubs, let's have a look. A lot of those guys seem to bounce back pretty good from layoffs, like Bobby Valor live. Yeah, Corey, sure, yeah. Landed on his feet there. Jono's on board with Liquid Entities. Point, fair play. Corey can't salute rolling on the floor, yeah. Oh, now the chat's got too much for me to keep up with. Except Star Wars dev teams, those creating... yeah, okay, fair enough. No comment. Oh, Real Zim's here. Hey, Real Zim, how's it going? And Profit, there's still great Star Wars product coming out despite marketing team seeming inept. Yeah, and also what you got to remember is that this isn't, you know, we take the adult collector perspective a great deal, but Hasbro is a complex kind of multi-layered organization with lots of products in lots of markets. You know, you got your Wizards of the Coast stuff. They dumped off their media brand. What was that called? I can't remember, but you know, like the Dungeons and Dragons movie brand and all that kind of stuff. So there's more to the narrative there than the kind of narrow aspect of that wider organization, you know. And they should have seen on the horizon. They should have known, doing their analysis, their market analysis. They should know, do you know what? Mr. Potato Heads are just not going to sell like they used to. We can't keep plowing out Mr. Potato Heads in the hope that we have a Christmas bump from kids wanting Mr. Potato Heads in their stocking. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, the Wrath of Cobra video game. That's a great example. I mean, it's cool and it's fine, and I had a little go of the demo, but it's not one I'm going to be picking up because somebody in Hasbro, you know, with decision-making responsibility, rubber stamped that and said, oh yeah, side-scrolling beat 'em up. That's what G.I. Joe fans want. You know what I mean? Jono here. I don't know, Chris, kind of standing up for Hasbro here, but it does look like they have to make Acolyte and Skeleton Crew figures, which will sit on shelves. None of the companies like Mayfex and SH Figure Arts are. Well, yeah, sure, but I'm saying that's just one small part of a bigger picture here, isn't it? You know, it's one aspect of the wider kind of complex networked organization that they are. However, that's not for 1 minute me. You know, they are lame characters. There's no two ways about it. 6-inch figures are aimed at Gen Xers. New Disney media is aimed at younger audiences. There is a disconnect there if they are contracted to produce figures for them. Well, yeah, but we don't know what's on that paperwork, do we? We don't know what's on that paperwork. But if what we are assuming is true, then, like I say, it still goes back to the leadership. It goes back to the decision maker who rubber stamped that and said, "Oh yeah, we'll sign this agreement. Let's get Disney on board. Think of what we could do with Marvel. Oh yeah, these bits in the small print here about what characters we must produce for the MCU and what characters we must produce for Disney Plus Star Wars. You know, there's still somebody who's making decisions and rubber stamping stuff that shouldn't be making these decisions or asking those questions to say, well, you know, are we going to get ourselves trapped here with the agreement that we're doing now? And it just demonstrates, again, bad management because they don't have the expertise, the knowledge of their own marketplace, their own, you know, their own specialist area to go, yeah, do you know what, it's a trap, you know? So I still maintain that it goes back to the quality of leadership in the organization. Liquid Entity, I don't think Hasbro could realistically have predicted how poorly some of the Star Wars stuff would be received, but they had to produce a ton of plastic. Same with bad Marvel projects. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. That is a fair point because, you know, you could get swept up in a kind of excitement. Star Wars, MCU, oh yeah, bring it on. Only to realise then that the audience that they thought was there wouldn't be there. So I can absolutely concede that point. However, again, we're just looking at Star Wars Black Series. We're just looking at, you know, Marvel Legends. It's one small part of a wider, you know, complex networked organization here. There's definitely other ways, you know, as Connor was saying before, there's definitely other ways they could better capitalize on and build profit margins out of those licenses in a variety of areas across their organization. You know, they've got Wizards of the Coast. They've got Wizards of the Coast, you know, and if you think about like the tabletop games, Marvel licensed, Star Wars licensed tabletop games that are going out the doors with the likes of Fantasy Flight Games and WizKids and WizKids is NECA's tabletop gaming arm. And we've only just now got a special edition Marvel themed Magic the Gathering set. You know what I mean? Oh, Tim Berry, a new face. Hi, Tim. How's it going? Welcome. I think Hasbro needs to tell Disney that they won't make new media toys as they all peg warm and go to clearance. They are most definitely peg warmers. And Jono here, that G.I. Joe game is only 2.5 hours long. Utter joke. Did you play it, Jono? Like I say, I just gave the demo a little go. I like a side-scrolling beat 'em up well enough, but not enough to drop whatever it was, 18 quid on it on Steam. And I'm not very good at them, so I get frustrated, you know. Plus, I maintain that, you know, G.I. Joe should be some sort of tactical game or a shooter game. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me to make it a side-scrolling beat 'em up. And then Connor here, but then going back to Chris's point of bad management, maybe they should be looking at new lines for younger customers. But yeah, and they may well be that, you know, again, I've not read this report, but I've heard whispers knocking around on the socials about what's in that report. And I think there might be some stuff on that subject about being able to respond in a more agile manner to the needs, wants, and desires of their target customers. So I'll obviously, I'll obviously give that a read and, you know, see what's the what. Here's Bobby Dubs. I remember watching someone made a YouTube video spoofing the HasLab. The video was showing off the new HasLab product was going to be the Hasbro headquarters, including officially laid off characters. Who did that? I've not seen that. I'd love to see it, though. If you can find the link, drop it in the chat for us, Bobby. Johnny here. That's the big problem. Hasbro has no Star Wars toy lines aimed at kids. Kids are not buying 30 quid a pop action figures. No, absolutely right. You know, Bobby Dubs, I bet Kathleen Kennedy is kicking herself not appealing to the 40 and 50-something-year-olds that still buy toys. That's not a space I'm getting into. There's an untold wealth of YouTube video content discussing Kathleen Kennedy and her impact on the Star Wars brand. Not for nothing, says Will, but Star Wars is a damaged franchise under Disney, and the fans are just turning their backs on anything Star Wars these days. It's true. Oh, here you go, Jono. Chris, that financial report mentions loads of the Hasbro properties like Nerf, Transformers, and board games are all soft and not performing at all well. So it's not just action figures. Okay, yeah, like I say, I'll get around to reading it because that sounds curious to me. Marvel ain't that far off. No, they've had they've lost their way, definitely. Sunbow cartoon is mostly blowing up vehicles and punching. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. And is that in like in the pro column in the good in the plus column for the game? Is that what you're saying there, Prophet? A bit of chatter there about the report. Where can we read the financial report? Yeah, I don't know, but I think if you Google something like Hasbro corporate, you'll get their corporate website, and I suspect it'll be in there somewhere. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Less on that. I'll publish the video tomorrow. Then you can all come at me again in the comments if you like. It's fine. All right, let's see if charging that's made a difference. No, it has not. What? Ah! Brown needs his nicotine, you know what I'm saying? Liquid Entity wrapping up nicely. We could be here for days talking about some of the bad decisions for Hasbro's other product lines. So much consumer dissent lately. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. On that note, oh, hey, Larry's here. Hey, man. How's it going, dude? Hope you're well. Okay, so New York Comic Con then. Let's get into the actual intended content for tonight's stream. Let's have a little look through some of the New York Comic Con stuff. I've got just kind of three main core bits that sort of caught my eye that I wanted to have a little bit of a chat with the audience about and see what your thoughts are. And the first on the list, I don't know, is there any Trekkers out there? Have you seen this? The new Star Trek 6-inch action figure line by Nacelle. Sorry, I just read the most recent comment by Connor there. Let's talk about the need for a HasLab X-Wing. Is that something you want, Connor? You've not mentioned. Oh, dear. I've just, funnily enough, I just built a Lego X-Wing the other day. This is kind of cool. Lock S-Files in attack position. Red leader standing by. Yeah, this is the anniversary edition, the cheap one. not the big old fancy one. Started making it with my son, and he just like lost interest and pissed off and went back on his Xbox. Which I suppose that's always like the addictive conclusion of that whole Hasbro conversation that we've just had, isn't it? Almost in a nutshell. The 40-something dad built the Lego X-Wing as a bonding thing with his son, and his son pissed off and went to play Fortnite on his Xbox. That's almost the summary statement of the whole thing, isn't it? Oh dear. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, Nacelle. Did you guys see this at NYCC New York Comic Con? I don't know if there is any trekkers out there. Let me know if you are trekkers or interested. But I thought it was interesting. Let me show you why. So the characters that they had. So we got like Captain Garrett here, and Captain Jellicoe, and then Tuvix, and then Peter Preston, Valkyris here. Oh, too far. And then they also announced, but they didn't have figures, the Captain Archer, but like the Mirror Universe Captain Archer, and something else. I can't remember, but those were the ones they had the digital renders for. And I thought it was interesting. I thought it was curious because there's such obscure characters. They've gone for really obscure characters. Now, I like a bit of Star Trek. You know, I wouldn't call myself a hardcore Trekker or anything, but I do like a bit of Star Trek. And I've watched, I've watched all this stuff. So I know that Captain Garrett is the captain of that Enterprise that had Tasha Yar on it that came through that wormhole-y thing. And I know Captain Jellicoe turned out to be a bit dodge. And I know Tuvix was like a weird Voyager, transporter accident thing that mashed Tuvok and what's his name together. I know Peter Preston from Wrath of Khan. I know Valkyris from Spock. I can name it. You know what I mean? Search for Spock. But they are super, super obscure, and I thought that was an extremely curious decision. An extremely curious decision to go for these kind of like really. Like just really digging around deep into the lore to pull out these characters for your first wave. Not even a... Like, I could understand why you might want to sustain the line by, spreading out your kind of core character stuff. But when you think about a Star Trek line, there is enough core characters that you could have an 8-figure wave or whatever this is. How many is there? 5, and then the 3. Yeah, 8-figure wave. He says, doing basic maths. You could have an 8-figure wave and still throw 2 kind of like desirable shelf display figures, and still make the other 6 kind of more obscure, and you'd have enough to keep you going for years. Like, you know what I mean? There's how many Enterprises and the Voyager and Deep Space Nine with a full crew? Do you know what I mean? A full crew makes no sense to me. Oh, Captain Sulu. Yeah, it's a Prophet there. I just saw it at the bottom of the chat. I'll go back and see what everyone else is saying. But Prophet's right. That's the one I forgot about, was Captain Sulu. But even then, that's kind of a little obscure-ish. I mean, at least it's Captain Sulu. Like, they've got Archer. They've got what's his Sam. I nearly called him Sam Beckett. What's the actor's name now? Sam Beckett. Well, he's Sam Beckett, isn't it? We all know that. But yeah, digging around in really obscure characters. So I found it very, very, like, super, super curious. However, the fact that there is a 6-inch Star Trek line is, a little head-turning, I think. I don't know, how good a Nacelle? I never bothered picking. I was tempted by the Biker Mice from Mars a little while ago, and I skipped him. And I know, did they do Bucky O'Hare? Was that Nacelle as well back in the day? I don't know if anyone here has got any Nacelle 6-inch figures in hand. If you have, then I'd love to hear from you. But let's jump back and see what folks are saying about this one. So John O'Redman there. Those are some pretty deep dive characters for Trek figures. Yeah, there you go. We're in complete agreement on that. Bobby Dubs just returning to a previous conversation. That headquarters video has been removed. Ah, what a shame. Jono's still there. Valkyries was in the movie for all of like 60 seconds at best. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, like Peter Preston. Do you know what I mean? Two Vics, one episode. You know, I think Captain Jellicoe came back once or twice, didn't he? Captain Garrett, one single episode. It's all very random. In fact, when I first glanced this over, I thought that was Janeway. I thought, oh, okay, you know, Janeway, but you know, it's not. Very, very random. Very random indeed. Will here, that's another franchise that's going the route of Star Wars. I used to love Star Trek until recent shows. I thought, what's the one with you know, what's his face and Dubry what's it? The Captain Pike one. I've forgotten the actor's name. Is it Anson Mount? Anson Mount? I thought that one was all right. That one was okay. I couldn't get on board with Discovery. It was just a little bit too untrekky. And Picard was a bit meh as well. I watched was it the third or the fourth season of Picard? The one because all the OG cast came back together. But I was underwhelmed, to be fair. I was underwhelmed. Okay, here we go. Picard season 3 was cool, but yeah, the rest was utter dog shit. Yeah, okay. So Picard season 3, is that the one I saw with the old with Crusher and Riker and everyone coming back? Connor, there you can make loads of waves just on holodeck outfits. You could absolutely. Oh, hey, Vern's here. Hello, Vern. Valkyries looks like she's got a great personality. Yeah. Yeah, they so Nacelle are not shy in terms of outfit choices, particularly compared to the likes of Marvel Legends, are they? Oh dear. So Vern's in the house. Oh, Scott Bakula. Thank you, Will. You're absolutely right. It is Scott Bakula. What's up, Vern? What's up? Everyone's saying hi to Vern as he's come in. Those Trek figures look very 7 POA-ish. I think, no, you might be right. But here's I'll pop you the link in chat. That's the article that I saw on Trek Core. And I think it says in there how many points of articulation there are, but I've forgotten and I didn't write it down on my little show notes piece. I was just the Valkyries picture. You can see the cuts on the other characters. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it definitely looks like he's got you know, bicep swivel. Looks like there's a thigh cut in there, doesn't there? Double knee. Is that single elbow maybe though? Let's have a look on some of the others. It might be single elbow. No, I think that might be double elbow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And Eric here says he thought Strange New Worlds was decent. It had some missteps, but a lot better than other offerings. Is Strange New Worlds the one I'm thinking of? Is that the one with Captain Pike? Anyway, there we go. So the question at hand, folks, of course, is you know, purchase or Pegwarmer. Do we think a 6-inch Trek line is going to go anywhere? Oh, look at that. The voting system. Oh, it's a bit high up. It's a bit high up. You can't read the thing. So let's take the votes. I'll just lower that down. Let's take the vote. So exclamation vote, and then either purchase or Pegwarmer. Do we think the Star Trek line is going to go anywhere or not going to go anywhere? Let's get some votes in. He says this didn't go very well last time when I did a poll as I was going along. But Nacelle Star Trek line, is it? Are they purchases or are they Pegwarmers? My favourite Star Trek, without doubt, hands down, is Deep Space Nine. Hands down, without a doubt. Love Deep Space Nine. Far better than any of the other Star Treks, in my humble opinion. Oh, here we go. It's... Oh, no. Do you know what? I'm sacking the voting off. Forget it. It's every week. It's... Oh, dear. I thought this to myself. Oh, dear. I thought Stacey Abrams was the highlight of that last Trek show. All right, okay. Yeah, peg warmers. It's all peg warmers. Is that box so big because they're supposed to be floating in space? Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, the Anti-Mount series, okay. Depending on production numbers, I think Nacelle has a lot of good press right now, so maybe that'll be enough to get the sales they want. Well, yeah, but they're doing weird, obscure characters. I mean, who's out there? More votes in for peg warmers. Why won't it let me move that? Who's out there, you know, realistically saying, like, oh, I wish I had a 2Vix figure. Do you know what I mean? Lots of peg warmer votes in. Lots of peg warmer votes in. Liquid Entity says, I'm not qualified enough to vote on this. Not a Trek fan, particularly Liquid Entity. No phasers because they're friendly in space. Well, yeah, but they also have, you know, set for stun. Peg warmers. Will agrees. Deep Space Nine was great. Yeah, just yes. No, right, but if you put it's exclamation vote, and then you write purchase or peg warmer, whereas you guys are all just putting exclamation peg warmer. But I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I blame the system. The bot that I'm using is obviously you know, has made it more convoluted than it needs to be. Hey, Ronnie, Trick Shots here, everybody. Good day to my man down under. Maybe they're following the Super 7 philosophy. Maybe. But, you know, we've got no view on the price. No view on the, you know, for any finer detail. Late 2025, I think the article said. I'll just pop it in the chat again, where I picked up the news from. So, yeah, if you're a Trek fan, it's out there. It definitely caught my eye and made me go, oh, it's interesting. It's interesting. And then I saw the figures and I'm like, I don't want any of them. You know, I want a Riker. I want a Ben Sisko. You know what I mean? I want a Miles O'Brien and a Dr. Bashir. You know, and get them into goofy poses. Yes, Paisano, just like that. But I've switched it off now. But it would be, yeah, exclamation vote and then peg warmer, or exclamation vote, then purchase. We'll try it out on the next one. Let's see how we get on with the next one. It really is just a dumb, goofy attempt on my part to make the stream a little bit more interactive. Profit. Fuller's figures. I had to wee the dog. What did I miss? Grinning face with big eyes. We were just talking about this Nacelle Star Trek line, but I'm about to move on. So next on the list, Marvel Legends. Next on the list is Marvel Legends. What do you guys think about the X-Men 97 Sentinel? I think this is really interesting, but yeah, get your thoughts in the chat. What do you think of the Sentinel? I mean, I won't buy it because, as you well know, I don't go in on the big stuff. Space, money is always a concern, you know, that I keep at the forefront of my mind when it comes to picking up my adult collectibles. But this definitely caught my eye. I mean, obviously, the conversation around the community has been: is this you know, the death of Marvel Legends HasLabs? That, you know, they've obviously positioned themselves in a way where they don't need to do HasLabby stuff anymore. You can just, you know, bang out a massive Sentinel to fight your X-Men, and that'll be fine. You know, that'll be A-OK. But it's definitely a curious one. It's obviously not as deeply kitted out as the original kind of comic book accurate Sentinel. But I think there's a lot you can do with it. There's an awful lot you can do with it. I think it's an excellent choice. And of course, the X-Men 97 animated aesthetic, I think for many of you guys, like for me, is definitely very, you know, really twanging on that nostalgia string, which I'm all for. You know, I'd love to get I mean, if I had the money and the space, a shopping mall diorama with a Sentinel in it and a Jubilee doing a runner, and, you know, Storm up in the thing, giving it a zap and all that. I think is really interesting. Oh, right. Let's have a try at the poll again. So exclamation vote, and then it's purchase or exclamation vote Pegwarmer to make cast your vote. Let's see if we have any more success this second time around. But in the meantime, while the poll's running, let's see what folks have got to say about the X-Men 97 Sentinel. Liquid Entity here, a centerpiece of a display for so many figures. Beautiful, but I'm not big into animation style figs. That's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. I generally lean more towards the like comic book accurate look, although I do have some animated figures. Connor here, I think this is a much better idea than HasLab and leaves the door open to produce again in the future. Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, well now you're voting correctly and it's not recording the votes. So I'm definitely turning this bastard thing off now. Because it's not working. Oh, Chris, you suck. There you go, Jono. Further evidence of the Chris does not have his shit together. Jono here. The Sentinel is cool, decent price, but why is it not a HasLab when it's the same size as Giant Man and with pretty much the same amount of accessories? Well, yeah, I don't know. Great question. That's what I'm saying. There's a conversation about this in the community, isn't there? Eric here, not for me, obviously. I knew they'd get around to it, though I am willing to bet there's a Galactus in the barrel. Yeah, probably. Hey, UB Playin, how you doing? Hey, Chris, glad I could catch you live and listen to my friend in person. And it's my absolute pleasure to have you with us here as well, UB Playin. Despite all my ridiculous upside-down poll activity. Yeah, so you guys have... I can see in the chat here. I much prefer this new made-to-order model, but kind of shows that a lot of HasLabs don't need to be really HasLabs. Yeah, because didn't they also do in Marvel Legends, what was it? Dragon Dude. Wasn't he more on the made-to-order model? I mean, that's what Fresh Monkey Fiction operate in that way as well, don't they? Where it's just like a more... it's not crowd-funded. It is made-to-order. Although they're a whole other conversation because they take like 2 years for them to actually deliver on the products anyway. So it might as well have been kickstarted. Eric likes the made-to-order idea as well. Would like to see Classified series go that route instead of the HasLabs. A lot of people, well, anyone who's passing, anyone who's sort of peg warming is saying, well, it's a pass for me because it's just not my thing, but I don't see any issue with it. Send it back to Master Mold. Chris, what about doing a poll in the chat for the results? Yeah, so the YouTube chat installed poll is flawed because you have to like set it up every time independently. Whereas using the Streamlabs system, in theory, you should be able to pre-set up the polls and then just fire them off when I'm ready to fire them off. Obviously, we've seen that that's also flawed tonight. Will there? I like the HasLab version of the Sentinel figure more. This looks too simplistic. Not for me, but in fairness, I don't collect Marvel figures. Yeah, because they've gone for that animated aesthetic, haven't they? It's, I mean, it is a great representation of that old classic. Well, not X-Men 97. I feel like it looks more like the original, X-Men cartoon. Ronnie, I do like pink, but I'm not a Marvel man. All Joes round here. Jono. Also, I've heard the Hiss Tank is getting a slight redesign and coming back as a made-to-order gig. Ooh. Where did you hear that, man? That's interesting. Connor, if it's made-to-order, it can't peg warm or go to Ollie's. Great point. Eric, just realised we said the same thing. Yeah, very good. Yeah, okay. I mean, it looks... I've got a couple of the other pictures there. There's the scale, the size of the thing. So I think it was Liquid Entity before I said, it could be a great kind of central element to a display. And absolutely, when you look at the scale of it, and there's some of the promo pictures have got some examples of the type of jiggery-pokery stuff that you could do. So I think it's an interesting one. And the made-to-order element, which I think is the more curious part of the conversation there. Is definitely something that well, it's head turning, isn't it? It's definitely curious and head turning. I certainly prefer a more kind of made to order. But again, like many of you in the chat, I don't believe it's a Pegwarmer necessarily in the sense of like it's a crap offering. It's just a pass for me because I don't tend to. I'd rather spend whatever it is, 180 quid on several 6-inch figures or whatever, or some a couple of 2-packs than I would on a on just a single centerpiece. Well, I don't particularly have the space for either, Jono there. So folks on Rebel Scum were saying it, and they've been bang on the money for leaks when it comes to Hasbro lines. Ah, okay, interesting. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. That is curious as well. And Paisano's asking there, like a more basic hiss. Yeah, the hiss. Was it 300? I can't remember. See, that's the thing with the HasLabs is that I sort of take a passing interest, and I'll see like Vern is in the chat. I watch Vern's show on a Saturday night, and they quite often talk about HasLabs and crowdfund activities. So I'll kind of keep up to date a little bit through their conversations. But I only, I just glance at it because I know I'm not going to drop that amount of money, and nor do I have the size to accommodate the item when I buy it. So, it's not. I don't then therefore recall things like precise details like the price and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was around 300-ish. Yeah, no worries, Connor. Take it easy, my man. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, well there's the Sentinel, but of course let's get to the juicy stuff, which I know that I and many of you guys in the chat, is what you come to the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles channel for. It's the GI Joe coverage. I obviously produced a video that was looking at the new release announcements, the digital renders, and sharing some thoughts on it. But as always, of course, I'm also very interested to know what folks out in the community are thinking and saying, particularly this community here, the MoDXtra viewing community. So let's have a look at some of these bad boys. And first one on the list is the Cobra Perimeter and Trench Viper. And for fear of repeating myself, I think this is curious. I like the idea of playsets in G.I. Joe Classified being part of the G.I. Joe Classified experience. I have concerns about the quality of implementation we're going to see. And I'm certainly not on board for yet another Alley Viper repaint being packaged up with it. That's like, oh, God, another Alley Viper. But yeah, let's hear your thoughts. I want to hear what folks have got to say and what they're thinking about the play set, and also, of course, is there any other play sets? I know a lot of folks would like the checkpoint. That would be a very popular one. Let's have a look. Let's see what folks are saying. Paisano says he's down. He's up for it. Okay, brilliant. John O. Redmond says no lights, etc. Oh, you're talking about the hiss tank? You're not talking about this, are you? But you're right. There are, there's no electronics in this either. Everyone's moving a bit slow. The real Zim is stoked for this. Tell me why, my man. Tell me why. I need to know the detail. But it's good. I like the idea of it. Paisano, pass on this. Hang on, wait for the little advertising thing to. I need to rejig these around a little bit, don't I? Go on, there we go. Pass on this. I make my own stuff like this. Yeah, fair play. And if you're capable and have the equipment to 3D print, then I would, be like, totally. Well, why bother? Make your own shit. You know what I mean? I'm not capable, nor do I have the equipment. So this sort of thing is well catered for individuals such as myself, for sure. Liquid Entity is just kind of a boring design compared to the OG sets. I'm in for one just to support Dio pieces. Yeah, that's a really interesting point, Liquid Entity. So yeah, because I said in my rundown video, like it is just sort of 3 walls and some ladders and stuff, and it's a bit, I don't know, a bit pedestrian, isn't it? A bit vanilla. And this, but I'd like to see more. Like I'm waiting on the in-hand view. You know what I mean? That we will get. That we might get sooner rather than later. I don't know. I mean, what are they? We've got 1027 and MCM London coming up, where there's been talk of stuff getting revealed. It might be Law and Order and Heavy Duty, but it's yeah, they wouldn't be showing them off that soon, especially if they're talking about production delays. But yeah, you're right. It's got kind of a bit of a pedestrian kind of look and feel about it. But I'd like to see the in hand, because if it does look and feel like super plasticky, like I picked up some bits off eBay the other day, like a weapon locker thing, and got some cans and stuff, and they just look super duper plasticky. I was going to talk to some of my mates down at the gaming store, who Warhammer painters, to see if they could maybe help me out, make that look a little bit, or give me some advice to make it look a little less plasticky. And I have concerns that this might be, this might be the same situation too. That it's, it's just 3 walls, open back, and just a bit bland and ploddy. Like I say, a boring design. Eric here, I definitely don't need that Viper. I also really like the idea of expanding the line with playsets, especially if they're modular. The inclusion of an army builder doesn't thrill me. Yeah, and I said in the video, and Connor was followed up, like, if you are going to throw an army builder in, just make it a straight up Cobra Trooper. You know what I mean? Or give us a green shirt for the GI Joe sets. You know what I mean? I know they're eager and keen to sort of make their own stamp on things with the creation of these characters, but I'm a bit like, what? I mean, I do actually quite like the paint scheme on this one. To be fair, I'm not totally averse to it, but I am just a bit like, come on. Bobby Dubs, I like it. I think it's going to look good on my Cobra Island diorama. Yeah, I mean, mate, the Cobra Island diorama is suitably impressive in its own right, if I may say so. I think you've done a tremendous job with that dio. And if anyone hasn't seen a picture, then you should join us on the Frontline Discord, and then scroll back about 12 months to when Bobby was showing it off. Where's the Frontline Discord link? There it is. Prophet says he's intrigued. I'll try one. Yeah, I can give anything a go once. And like Liquid Entity said as well, just picking one up. Was it Liquid Entity? Liquid Entity. Picking one up just to demonstrate to the G.I. Joe design folks, like, yeah, we're in for this stuff. We want more. I think is a good idea. Reels inputs are voting for the figure, though. I think the figure looks cool, and I like the ability to connect multiple of the bunkers together. There you go. See? Horses for courses. Other opinions are available. It was cheap at Ross, I'm buying. Liquid Entity, the more display options, the better, so we need to see how the modularity pans out. Yeah, and what other sets they're planning on putting out, and how that might all integrate together, and what it might mean for your display experience, and your photography experience. I'm just a little bit wary. I was looking at the sandbags, because the sandbags are of interest to me. As part of a thing, I'm quite often taking shots of Outback, popping some shots over the top of the thing. And the sandbags are curious to me for that. And then I'm just a bit like, but are they going to look really plasticky? So, I don't know. Well, I think I would buy 2. Just won't be in a rush to pre-order it on day 1. Yeah, I think that's I'm kind of in a similar sort of space to you there, Will, with that. I think I want to wait and see, get an in-hand reveal, and then sort of call my shot on it, Liquid Entity. Trench Viper in blue will fit in so much better aesthetically with the regular Troopers and Vipers. What? You're joking, aren't you? What? When you got... so it's funny you should say that. I was taking the reason I've got my G.I. Joe box out. I was taking some pictures before. Let's get them together. And I had I might still finish it off. So I had like a snow job at it, and I was putting underneath like, I wear white because I fight in the snow. And then I had Stalkers like, I wear white because I fight in the I wear green because I fight in the jungle. And then I got Dusty like, I wear yellow because I fight in the desert, kind of thing. And then I've taken a photo of a Crimson Viper and an Alley Viper, just sort of looking at each other like, I don't know. It entertained me anyway. Entertained me. Let's see what Ronnie's got to say about the playset. Let's see. So Ronnie says, should have just left the figure out altogether, I reckon. It's Hasbro just milking us. Yeah, and this is common Hasbro practice, of course. So I've spoken about Marvel Legends and 2-packs and things. Like, I've just recently picked up, review coming soon, folks. Just recently picked up the Punisher Bushwhacker 2-pack. But I only really kind of wanted the Punisher. I mean, I'm familiar with Bushwhacker. I'm an X-Men guy at heart, so I've definitely, read comic books where he was a mutant hunter and things, and I read all the original war journals and stuff. So I'm familiar with the character. He's just not a Punisher villain. I mean, when it comes to the Punisher, I'm a Garth Ennis run guy, really. But I'd rather just have a single Punisher in a pack. And they'll probably just be doing a re-release with yellow boots and gloves on it in no time at all. But I'm impatient and suffer from FOMO. And so, what is it? Folks call it an Instagram hostage packs. Holding you hostage by making you spend more if you want to get just one of the 2 figures. And they did it loads in Marvel Legends with the Wolverine anniversary stuff. So if you wanted a Sabretooth, you had to have the civilian clothing Wolverine. If you wanted a Lalandra, you had to have some random brood Wolverine. So yeah, it's very classic Hasbro practice, like you say, just milking us for more cash. Paisano is worth $20 if that figure's not included. Yeah, entirely along the same theme. Eric also recommends joining the Discord. Did you mention Giant Man? John, there, it's cool, but not mind-blowing like most of the classified stuff is. Yeah, I think you're right. It's very... I'll reuse the word I used before. It just feels a bit pedestrian, doesn't it? Just a bit bland. Eric there, the original Ali Viper colours are iconic, and one of the figures I remember having multiples of as a kid. The repaints are meh for me. Yeah, and there's just like a weird obsession with Ali Vipers and bats. So like churning out Ali Vipers and bats over and over and over again. I mean, how many Ali Vipers have we had now? And bats. How many bloody bats have we had? You know what I mean? But I suppose it's about reusing the tooling. It's easy repaints. I kind of get it, kind of don't. Let's see what Vern's got to say here. If you have that booth, you can set it up with the gun sticking out and never put the figure in there. Right, so... are you saying then you think that with the booth, once you've installed that big 60 cal machine gun, you wouldn't be able to? It just wouldn't work practically to have the 2 in. Yeah. Liquid Entity. I'm still not sure what the bollards are for, or what is that? Yeah, they are curious because they're obviously not stilts, are they? Because you'd have 4 if that was the case. So I don't know. They just like are they supposed to replicate like the ones that lower in and out of the ground, so you can make a little entryway? But I mean, I have no idea. I'm as clueless as you, Liquid Entity. I'm just throwing out guesses. But if it doesn't come in the box, who's going to man the bunker? Yeah, well, so they did say on a previous stream, didn't they, Emily and Lenny, that they wanted it to be a play experience, and that like when you were a kid, every vehicle should have a character with it. I don't think that's necessarily what I'm calling into question. I don't know about others, but that's not necessarily what I'm calling into question. I'm just not sure about churning out another Ali Viper repaint. When I think if you were going to throw a figure in it, just a straight up Cobra Trooper would have been a better choice. But that's just that's opinion stuff. That's not not the authority on that. Orange classified figure is a really awesome figure. I agree. Profit there. Vern there. Profit. That's so that the guy parking the Stinger doesn't hit the booth. 5 bats. Yeah, I think maybe. So what we had? We had the original black and yellow one. Then it was I'm looking at my box. I've only bought 2. The Arctic one. I've got the Arctic one. Then there was definitely a crimson one, wasn't there? And then the Iron Grenadier one that's just recently been. So I'm missing one here. That's 4. What's the one I'm missing? I'd tell you what. Was there a Python Patrol one? I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, actually, I should have just read the next comment. The original one, the Artie, the Python, the Crimson, and the... Fair enough. Bobby Dubs, the Viper I want is the Window Viper. Yeah, they're giving us a polar bear, so it might be just around the corner. Yeah, and the Viper is coming. And, well, we'll come to that one. Hold your thoughts, Bobby. I'm coming to that one. Let's rattle on. So, Footloose, folks. What's our thoughts on Footloose? Just to summarise my thoughts in the overview. I mean, it's just a standard kind of camo trooper guy. I've got doubts. I'm skeptical about the head sculpt a bit. I'm a bit like, I'm not sure there. But overall, he's just a good quality soldier boy, and Footloose is a very popular character. Again, I mentioned in the video, for fear of repeating myself, I've got fond memories of Footloose because he featured in a number of the storylines that were published in the old Action Force Marvel UK comics. In fact, the very first storyline, Footloose, was on the team with Flint and Scarlet and Snake Eyes and stuff. So, again, I think I'm holding on to see the in hand. I want to see that head. It looks like it's a bit small, and it looks a bit too youthful for me. But overall, yeah, just a decent soldier boy, innit? You know, he's in camo, ready for action. He's gonna shoot some rockets out of his shoulder-mounted rocket launcher. What more do you want? You know. Probably says more bats, please. I love bats. Cheers, Eric. The Window Viper, everyone. Footloose is the spitting image of Brian from Brian's Action Figure. Really? I don't see it myself. Well, maybe actually. Yeah, maybe. Footloose, this is the way Profits on board. Hey, Mr. B's here, everybody. Everyone say hello to Mr. B for me in the chat. Liquid Entity, I love Footloose, but this is just bland infantry, nothing dazzling. Yeah, exactly. It's and I suppose, you know, it's the G.I. Joe classified story there, isn't it? That some folks are going to want the more kind of military based, military looking kind of stuff. I'm definitely into the more wacky, out there, balmy stuff. But so I find the Soldier Boy is a little bit less engaging. But you know, he is a core character, very ubiquitous main character. Like I say, featured a lot in the comic book. So yeah, there's nothing there to make you go, wow. But also nothing that makes me go, what? You know, it's all, you know, it looks like good quality stuff. It's just the head sculpt's got me a little, I'm like, what's that going to look like? What's that head sculpt going to look like, you know? Paisano's on board. Fire for the Footloose. Mr. B, yeah. They gave him a Punk with Toys moustache. Yeah, you can't beat a good bit of stash work. In fact, me and Eric were instant messaging only the other day talking about good quality stash work on our figures. Everyone's saying hi to Mr. B and stuff. Bobby, can you head swap for the first Falcon and some to age the character? Or just hold the lighter under it or something. Johnny says, you're not a fan of the weird looking knee pads on Footloose. Yeah, I was trying to pin it down. I think that's reuse, isn't it? That's I want to say I think I speculated in the video, but I think it's Tunnel Rat. He says, reaching into his box again. Where are you, Tunnel Rat? No, you're near the top because I was taking pictures with you the other day as well. Or maybe you're not. I'm so envious of you folks who have like massive display spaces and stuff. Because look at the state of this. I'm just, just figures in boxes, just digging through. I obviously could have afforded to be a little bit more organised when it came to filing these all the way. Where Tunnel Rat is, but I think that might be it's reuse trouser legs. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It looks kind of a bit like breaks up that camo pattern and looks a bit odd. But also, have they done it to break up the camo pattern? You know. I'm being cheeky because it looks a little bit like Pedro Pascal. Yeah, I've seen that out and about. That's a leading opinion, isn't it? All right, well, there's Footloose. Let's move on to the Legacy Firefighter, which is a curious one. I'm into this one, personally. I like it. I think it's interesting and good quality reuse of the Snow Job book in a way that just doesn't look like it's Snow Job reuse. It's, you know, it's got a bit of a distinctive, it stands apart by itself. If you put them next to each other on the shelf, or you'd have to be looking at it like someone like me. So I think that's good. And I just like world buildery stuff. I understand that, some folks are like, well, I'm just in for the characters, and I'm not so interested in these more kind of generic soldier types. And I have to say, I never got around to reviewing it in the end because I just had kind of too much going on. But the 60th anniversary infantry trooper, after a while, I kind of just bored of it very quickly, and I don't think some of the stuff was implemented so well. I've got my Halo jumper on the way soon. I think it's due to ship any day now. So I'll be taking a closer look at that. But I'm kind of into the idea of, just opening up the world of possibility when it comes to making interesting displays and making interesting little photography missions. And I think stuff like this can help, especially when it's packaged up with loads of reusable accessories that you can sort of disperse across your line for a variety of purposes. I'm looking forward to putting that fire axe in the hand of a couple of dreadnoughts. You know what I mean? But anyway, I've shared my thoughts on my rundown video, so let's see what everybody else has got to say. Bobby Dubs. I'm looking forward to the Firefighter because I'm going to display him at the bottom of my shelf with one of those rapid deploy cushions to catch other figures when they fall off. Yeah. My Quarrel keeps falling down. She's not a good stander, is Quarrel. John, the Firefighter looks cool, but will they do a cop figure considering the whole defund the police bollocks in so many parts of the US? Yeah, well, that's because, interesting question. Because they described it as a first responder line, and that there was going to be one other in 2025. And, when you say first responders, you think, paramedics, you think firefighters, you think police. I wouldn't know what else you'd qualify as a first responder. Would they do a copper? It's hard to say. Like a boy in blue shirt and pants. Liquid Entity, I wish it had a fire effect. Oh well, good fig, but I don't think I need this with my classified. Well, yeah, and I totally get that, but I'm also like, well, if you collect multiple lines like myself, I could see a place for a firefighter in amongst some. You can just use it generically across a range of things, like having a chat with Captain America outside a burning building and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like it's just generically useful for a 6-inch figure. Less so about G.I. Joe Classified specifically, and just more so about kind of like an interesting generic look character that you can include in a range of stuff. Eric there, it's an awesome figure, but it'll be one I skip. The longer the line goes, the more thankful I am for stuff I don't feel like I need. Yeah, and that's inevitably going to happen, isn't it? It's just part of the nature of the situation. Footloose looks okay, but I don't have anything bad to say about him. Yeah, fair enough, Will. Thank you very much. So likely fire, EMS, police, and it'll be a SWAT. Yeah. And then Ronnie makes a good point. Firefighter is no, that's not the good point. I'm skimming reading. However, that doesn't take away from what you're saying, Ronnie. Firefighter is a hardcore knockoff. EMS for sure is the bet. Purchase, not pre-ordering. There you go. This was the good point that I wanted to highlight. No offense, Ronnie, intended at all. I think Paramedic will be next. Lifeline reuse. Yeah. Oh, well, we've not had Lifeline yet. Do you mean Doc? Or is there a Lifeline on the way that I've not heard about? And then Paisano says there, most firefighters and police figures are awful until this. Yeah. Very good. Okay, there you go. There's a firefighter. And let's take us finally into the Snake Eyes and Polar Bear mass device set. And, the Polar Bear is freaking awesome. I'm talking about, like, wanting weird and wacky shit in your collection. I'm all up for purchasing this just for the Polar Bear alone. The Snake Eyes looks fine, looks good. It's interesting. It's interesting. I said something on the rundown about like it's a bit niche. Like it's one. I love the fact that they're drawing a strong reference to. Sorry, I read Roddy's comment just as I was talking there. A strong reference to the cartoon and drawing inspiration, and obviously a lot of us collect because we have nostalgic memories of the cartoon. I'm more of a comic book guy, but I know that the Sunbow cartoon was a big influence on many of you folks, certainly from North America. And but it's just a bit niche. They went just with the glowing hands. I just wish. I know they put the skin hands in there, and he did have no gloves on in the cartoon. I get all that, but it's just a bit niche. Like you get it, and you just take one picture of that scene with him holding the thing, and then you're sort of done with it. You know what I mean? But like Bobby said before, the Window Viper and Cold Slither and Shipwreck with a saxophone and stuff is all very, very interesting to me. Whether they do a Baroness in a red leopard print bikini and Lady J in a knotted short shirt, I don't know, but it's on the Mass Device stuff anyway at the moment. So I kind of like it, but I'm sort of a little bit divided. I've got a few mixed feelings about it. I think I'll probably pick this up and then probably just dig out some black gloved hands from the other Snake Eyes I've got and slam them on this one, because I actually kind of like the color scheme and stuff. So that's my view anyway. But like I said, I've already done a video with a rundown. I'm more interested to hear what you guys got to say and talk about it with you. So let's see what folks got to say. Roddy, not offended at all. Yeah, bugger. Profits in. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. He's all for this. Mr. B on the hunt for the polar bear. Eric's wondering what the aftermarket will be for the Snake Eyes, because I do want the bear. Liquid Entity, I'm not even mad about getting another Snake Eyes here. That bear will sit with Snow Serpents. Well, yeah, that's it. That's the thing. And we've actually got a fairly decent little kind of growing Arctic warfare thing, haven't we? We mentioned before the Arctic Bat. I've had Snow Job. We've got the Snow Serpent. We could do with some more, like Frostbite and stuff. But yeah, it'll sit in well, even though this is making specific reference to a specific scene in the cartoon, you can make use of the polar bear in a multitude of ways, can't you? Jono agrees with me. Bear looks awesome. Not interested in another Snake Eyes. Oh, I knew this, Will. You'd mentioned this to me before. My dad used to be a firefighter. Jesus. A firefighter in NYC. And much respect to your father for that. Paisano, this is made for Sunbow marks like me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Will saying that the fact that his father used to be a firefighter is an influencing factor on the legacy firefighter. And then some conversation about the hands glowing. The hands glowing. Yeah. And quite a few people commented on my video. They had some speculation there about the Cobra eels. Maybe a diver Baroness in the next one, which would be interesting for sure. So I like it. I like it in the sense that, oh yeah, they're making these, I'd love a Cold Slither or a Snake Eyes in a pink dress. Do you know what I mean? Or what I'd also like, and I've mentioned this before in previous stuff, so I know some of you have heard me say this before, like a couple more of the kind of civilian characters, knocking around, like that news reporter who came, what was his name? He just fell out my head. But a few more of the civilian characters, or some of the really wacky stuff, like a set with the ghosts from that episode with the ghosts in it, would be really fun, Bear needs to be able to stand on its hind legs, though. Yeah, that'd be interesting if it could do that. I think if the articulation is going to be similar to the previous kind of creature stuff, isn't it? So can they just trying now with no, but the feet aren't big enough. Maybe the feet are flatter, got a wider surface area for I mean, you've got the articulation to get the figure. So if it's following the same articulation scheme, just scaled up, which I think it might be, although it doesn't seem to have a join in the middle, does it? but the legs look the same. Anyway, another momentary distraction tangent for Chris. Sunbow fans are Marks, DIC fans are Johns. Yeah, indeed. I mean, in DIC though, what's left that anyone would want? No, we've had Norgride, we've had heavy metal. Well, heavy metal's grandmother is what we want. Give the bear a coat for a Christmas decoration. Yeah. Hungry days are coming. Hungry days are coming. Somebody made a comment that they want to replace, the Coca-Cola joke there for Bobby Dubs again. Hector, yeah. Hector? Where's Hector? Oh, Hector, yeah, sorry. Being slow. One of the Mythic Legion Santas riding that bear would look cool as hell. Or Fresh Monkey Fiction. You got the Fresh Monkey Fiction Naughty or Nice line, haven't you? So a lot of display opportunity, a lot of ideas coming to mind. There's a Tony Starkhead classified can borrow for Hector. Yes. Yeah, with the Well, it looks like mostly folks are all in on the mass device idea. The polar bear is definitely a head turner. Definitely a head turner. Really in for the polar bear there. Another Snake Eyes in the collection, sort of spending the money for a deluxe set with the Snake Eyes and stuff. It's fine, I can make use of that Snake Eyes. Just like I say, I'm not into. I don't want the glowing hands. I don't want that one single scene or section of the cartoon. I'm a bit like, it's just that one piece of a. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm waffling now. I'm getting tired. I mean, it's 11:20 for me over here in the UK. So I think that's it. Is that it? Oh no, Ecto-1. But do you know what, folks? I'm just going to skip this one because, well, I'm interested to know. Anyone interested in the Ecto-1? The thing I had to say about it was I found it really convoluted and confusing, the HasLab on this one. I didn't really know what was going on. And then I went and looked at their webpage, and I don't feel like it cleared it up a great deal for me. And then I was like, well, I don't buy HasLabs anyway, but I'll chuck it in case someone's interested. But, and I like Ghostbusters well enough, but, yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a lot to say on this one. I'm not even sure why I put it in. I'm not even sure why I put it in. Didn't even put a linking screen in from G.I. Joe into Ghostbusters Hello. That's how lazy it was. I'm like, I'll just throw the Ecto-1 on at the end. So let's stick with mass device stuff. Bobby's asking, I wonder if we'll see a Baroness in a diving outfit for the heavy water element. Yeah, maybe. And that would be great. I want a new Baroness. I want a new Baroness in a classy look. She is my most disappointing G.I. Joe classified figure, without a doubt, is the Baroness. And so I want the... I really like the look of the Rattler one. I think the Rattler one looks great. But, yeah, really, really not in for the... sorry, really disappointed, but I was distracted. Someone's on the other side of the door behind me. I could just hear them. They're probably checking if I'm still going. Most disappointing G.I. Joe classified figure to me. But Ronnie can always be guaranteed to to bring that classic innuendo into the mix. Yeah, Eric, multiple choice HasLabs. I'm like, well, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. And they didn't explain it. I watched JC's filmed panel and I was like, what are they saying? What? I don't get it. And then I went and I looked at the webpage. I don't know. Fuck the Ecto-1. Not interested. Eric there, the Baroness needs a rerun with improved articulation. Yes, she most definitely does. Well, I mean, we've got one, haven't we? We've got the Crimson, the one that was in the Crimson 3-pack with the improved articulation. Although I feel like I didn't buy the Crimson 3-pack, so maybe someone can comment more accurately than I. But I felt like the head sculpt was a bit shaky on the Crimson 3-pack. I like the look of the head sculpt on the one in the Rattler. I like the look of that one, but obviously I haven't gone in on the Rattler, and I certainly wouldn't go in on the Rattler just for one head sculpt that I like. Although I like the figure sculpt as well on the Baroness too. I think they do the female figures really, really well in G.I. Joe Classified. So yeah, a mainline release of the Crimson 3-pack Baroness in the classic black outfit would fly, wouldn't it? We'd all be, loads of us would be up for that. You know, Paisano kit bashed his Baroness as well, and then UB play N. I know they're trying to steer people towards the higher package, but lower package is too expensive. I'd probably do it for 200 on the Ecto 1. Interesting. Okay, yeah. Are you Ghostbusters fan then, UB play N? Okay, Paisano says the Crimson Head Sapphire. All right, fair enough. Yeah, like I say, I never had one in hand. I didn't order the 3-pack. I wasn't interested in the twins in the Crimson look, and I wasn't interested in the Baroness in the Crimson look, so I skipped it. Thinking that, okay, well, you know, I've got the twins already in their classic look colours, and they'll do a Baroness. Surely they'll do a Baroness. But then here we are. They've not done a Baroness. And we've already had a retro Baroness release, so would they do another retro Baroness release? I mean, we've had retro Coco, haven't we? Using the Hiss Tank one, so they're not adverse to using HasLab sculpts in mainline releases. You know, we know that there's a precedent for that. Liquid Entity. The Crimson Head sculpts are fine, but look like a younger Baroness. Yeah, okay. She's got 3. The retro Baroness head was awful. Yeah, she absolutely is my most disappointing G.I. Joe classified figure. UBM play, not for that price. I've had some of the Plasma series. They're nice, but not into it like classified. Fair enough. Yeah, okay. Thanks, UBM play. I was just curious. The HasLab Baroness mold will 100% get reused, and probably before the Rattler is in people's hands. It's the Hasbro way. The Baroness had 3 face portrait options with the Crimson Bat. Oh, right, there was head swaps. See, again, once I've decided I'm not picking something up, I just shut it out and file other stuff into the filing cabinet of my head. You know what I mean? Marvel Legends X23 head works great. Oh, interesting tip. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Although I don't have the Marvel Legends X23 either. So it's a great tip, but not what I could make use of. She's probably quite expensive on the secondary market as well, X23. Although isn't she on, there was a Marvel Legends leak list knocking around the other day, and I feel like X23 was on the leaks list. I'm not sure. And then let's have a look. John O. Redmond. I honestly thought the retro Baroness head looked cool. It was the rest of the figure that was lacking compared to the other classified. Yeah, the joints, and she's just, I don't know. Again, she'll be around here somewhere. Come on, where are you, Baroness? Come on, Anastasia. Out the box you come. Oh, there's Zorana. Now that is a female figure. I just, Ronnie, I watched your, I wasn't able to watch you live this week, but I watched the video on demand, the VOD, earlier today. Had it on in the background while I was doing some other stuff, and I answered your ticker tape questions on Shark Eyes Toy View. There, and Zorana is definitely my favourite Dreadnought. Just so you know. Right, come on, where are you, Baroness? Oh, there she is. I can see a black shiny leg sticking out. Yeah, I mean, the face isn't that bad, is it? The face isn't that bad. Mine's gone, like, super loose. Super, like, really wibbly wobbly. But yeah, the single elbows are really crap. You can't really do much with them. The articulation is alright. Yeah, I mean, actually, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Okay, well, there's Scarlet there. Like, next to Scarlet, she's okay articulation-wise. I mean, they match other than the arms. She's got double knees. But, yeah, you know, just needs... We need an upgrade. Yeah. We need an upgrade of the Baroness. I think we're all in agreement on that one. We're all in agreement. Yes, X23 came in a multi-pack with X-Force, Nightcrawler. They're showing a render of it. Yeah, okay, I thought I saw that. To be fair, normally when there's a leak list, X-Men related Marvel Legends stuff is what I pay the most attention to, but I've just been, my head space has just been so occupied with other stuff lately. Paisano, Zorana is great. Zorana might be perfect. Oh, you're welcome, Ronnie. It was my pleasure. Having a good giggle, chuckling away to myself. It is that bad. Okay, fair enough, Paisano. Retro Scarlet would be great if she could stand up. Yeah, and I'm having the problem with Coral. Although I've noticed that is the downfall with the female figures. That is the downfall with the female figures, because my Jinx isn't a great stander, independent stander either. Zorana's all right, but she's got her boots, so she stands great and she looks great. And the face, she just looks so pissed off, like she should. It's awesome. This is a figure I go back to time and time and time again. Just really love the Zorana figure, and that splash of pink and the hair. I like the modern look hair. Brilliant figure. All unique accessories as well. Everything in there just unique. Just brilliant figure. And I do like the Retro Scarlet, to be fair. I do like the Retro Scarlet, but you're absolutely right. There's something about that boot line. I think it's because there's like the heel isn't flush. There's like a curve to it, and so it's like really faffy to get your Retro Scarlet standing up. It does my head in. Anyway, right. There we go. It's 11:30, folks. I've done an hour and a half. That's your 90 minutes of Chris. I'm going to start bringing it to a close there now. A little bit peckish. Need to go check on the dog. Make sure she doesn't need a wee and stuff. But there you go. That was the few bits and bobs from New York Comic Con that caught my eye. Thank you very much for coming along and sharing your thoughts and opinion. I like to hear stuff from around and about. So here's your chance. If you've got any last questions, any comments, queries, concerns that you want to fire my way as I start to bring it to a close. But it's always great to see you guys. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If anyone out there isn't already subscribed, actually, here you go. Here's another techie thing. I've been feeling around with some stuff. If anyone wants to drop a quick sub just to see if my thing works. Paisano's got a bounce as well. Oh, Lone Dragon's been here. You've been quiet, my friend. Fist bump back, though. Go Pakistan. Ronnie's watching the cricket. Fun stream as always. Thank you, Jono. Well, it is nothing without the contribution of you guys at all. That's the point. Interactive show. All right, everyone's saying ta-ra then, so I think there's nothing else left to cover. Thank you very much, folks. Keep an eye out. I'll post that Hasbro ranty video tomorrow about bad leadership, and then you can all come and argue with me further in the... I'm sorry, I was distracted. Deluxe Ecto 1 should come with patches. I think that might be the best comment of the night. Eric there, touting the Discord. Here you go. I'll give you another quick link before I leave. Have a good one, sir. Oh, Lone Dragon, I'm so sorry. You came in just as I'm wrapping up. Well, hopefully you get a chance to watch the video on demand. But otherwise, take it easy, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll catch you next time. Remember, the streams are going to be a little bit more infrequent for a little while until I figure out some stuff around the kids' extracurriculars and looking after the dog and what have you. But keep an eye out. I'll let you know over on the socials and whatnot when I'm going live. But take it easy. Look forward to seeing you around these parts again sometime soon, folks. All right? Ta-ra now.